Let's continue.
who control it and who are anonymous and no one knows who they are.
Yeah, it's another fallacy. Who controls Bitcoin? No one knows who they are. That's not correct. I think the better question is who controls fiat? And who are they? I'm sure if you ask anyone in any country who controls your currency, I'm sure they could not give a name. Realistically. Even the names you might know, are they the ones who control it? Or are they just the figureheads of those who control it? Like Joel Powell and so on and so forth. So that is actually a question that's valid for fiat, but it's invalid for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has nobody who controls it. That's the point of Bitcoin. There is nobody, there is no individual who controls Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an open source program that anyone on planet Earth can run the program and secure the network. Anyone can mine it, anyone can run a node, and anyone can contribute to the code. So there is no one person who owns it. There's no one person who controls it. Many people have tried, but they've realized very soon that you can't do that. And that's the point behind Bitcoin. It is the best form. It is money like gold. Just like no one controls gold, no one controls Bitcoin. And in fact, gold has more potential to be controlled than Bitcoin. How so? Because gold has a physical form, it's impractical to use on an everyday basis. That's why we came up with paper money. It made gold, it was, you could say, the layer 2 on top of gold, allowed the easier transaction and use of gold as money. And because gold was heavy and physical, it caused gold to be consolidated in vaults and safes of companies and banks. And because of that, it was easy to capture by the banks. Bitcoin has no physical form. Therefore, there's no reason or incentive for you to give your Bitcoin to a bank. Why would you? Now, don't get me wrong, many people leave their Bitcoins on exchanges. But that's by choice. There's no reason why they have to. They can easily withdraw their Bitcoin at zero cost, or maybe just the cost of withdrawal, which is a couple of pence or pounds. But there's no reason for that to happen. So it's very, very difficult to capture Bitcoin because there's no incentive to store your Bitcoin in some centralized location. So no one can control Bitcoin. That's a feature, not a bug. Also, it's important to recognize this objection for what it is. It is a question, not an objection. Many people make objections with questions. And the answer to that is very simple. Answer the question. Once you answer the question, then you find the answer. The lack of ability from your behalf or on your part to answer the question does not demonstrate there is no answer. So the Shaykh says, if no one knows who controls it, and I can just say, yes, actually, we do. We all control it. We are all Satoshi. That's it. Some people say. I'm Spartacus, as they say. But yeah, we're all Satoshi. We all can play a part in sharing the group responsibility of maintaining the network, maintaining the ledger, and maintaining Bitcoin. No one controls it. No one can shut you down from using it. No one can ban you from the system. No one can reverse your transactions. No one can punish you by kicking you out of the system. No one can block you. These are the virtues that comes from Bitcoin, unlike fiat. Now we've reached a stage now where countries now can be ejected from fiat. Russia has been banned from the SWIFT system. They can't even transact using dollars anymore. That's the problem with fiat. Someone does control it. That doesn't occur with Bitcoin. Everyone is neutral. Everyone can use it when they want to. So here are some of the virtues of Bitcoin. It's totally transparent. Everyone can see all transactions. So if I send you money, I can send you the transaction ID and you can verify it yourself. Anyone can verify it. It's an opt-in system. You don't have to use Bitcoin. No one's forcing you to do so, as opposed to fiat. You're forced to by gunpoint, you could say. The policy, how Bitcoin issues its Bitcoins and when it does so and how often it does so, all these things are open and transparent. and cannot be manipulated and changed by any one individual or even cartel of individuals. It's something that we all, you could say, take part in. If I disagree, it won't happen. You have to have a consensus. The rules are clear and open. It doesn't discriminate who uses it. Doesn't censor transactions and so on and so forth. So it's open to anyone to build on top of it. So if you wanted to build a system using dollars, you have to comply to the rules stated by the US government. If I wanted to build a system on top of Bitcoin, I just build. No one controls it. I can build anything I like on top of the Bitcoin network. That's it. So this idea that no one owns it and so on and so forth, no one controls it, that's the point of Bitcoin, is that no one can control it. Another red herring about this objection is that those who have developed the code, because Satoshi Nakamoto launched the Bitcoin network, but he wasn't the only person or the last person to contribute to the code. The Bitcoin code is constantly being updated by Bitcoin developers. There are over 800 people who have so far added code to the Bitcoin blockchain, including Muslims. They are known, their code that they added is known, and it is thoroughly discussed and tested before implemented. So it's not something which is secretly done behind closed doors. It's openly done for everyone to observe. Now, maybe you may not be a coder and you can't understand the code, but it doesn't mean that you cannot or are unable. It can be understood. It doesn't take long to learn coding, and you can easily understand how Bitcoin works within a year, as opposed to having a say in fiat and knowing how it works. There are many things that we are unaware of how it works behind closed doors because there's no transparency. So it's really unfair, like many of these objections, an unfair objection toward Bitcoin.